Well, hello there, Chick Chat. We are back with Bash Me Abroad episode 8, and we're just going to jump right into it. We get into Victoria and her horrid tattoo extravaganza.
Yeah.
She is going to meet up with Darren again, and they decided to really go through with these matching tattoos, which, I don't know if it's just because she's so easy, like to, get to do things or what's really gullible or like what her deal is, but a
She does
second
say
date,
she's a people pleaser, but I think she wants to do this.
yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's a very permanent second date, that's for sure.
Totally. But I don't know. This is the most consent I've seen her really give. Usually you see her be real agreeable with the guy, and then
Yeah.
in the confessional, she's kind of, obviously not so agreeable, but she seems really excited for this. Obviously, they have been text messaging. I don't understand. Well, first of all, she said when they were talking about what is your best quality or your best assets, she said, "What are your best aspects?" in the confessional. And I don't know why that got under my skin, but it did. So I have to get that out there. So, as far as talking about their best aspects, she brings up her boobs right away because her weird old Irish boyfriend told her that Irish men are going to love the fact that she has fake boobs. And then she just it goes on talking about how she paid for these implants and blah, blah, blah. Are the boobs not enough of a prize that you have to now just plaster it all over the place that you have fake boobs? I don't get it.
Well,
Maybe
this
because I
man
don't have
is,
fake boobs.
yeah, I mean, he is covered in tattoos. I mean, I know they're like little, so maybe they aren't as expensive, but I
Mm-hmm.
mean, boobs are usually like around $4,000 or something. I don't know. My sister got a deal on hers, but
I
it's
don't know.
just interesting that she thinks that she spent more on her tits than he did his whole body. But I digress. It's interesting, but I mean,
Yeah.
I do see what you're saying though about like like this is all her personality is her boobs or something, and her dead parents. It's kind of sad, but
It is kind of sad. And I'm not a Harry Styles fan. Do you listen to Harry Styles? Do you know
no,
what?
but why is the ghost? Because he listened to a song. That was so strange to me. Yeah,
I
the
know.
ghost for him listening to a Harry Styles song. Like, is that a song you guys both heard together? What's the ghost?
Yeah, so that's what's perplexing to me because apparently they put this tattoo together because of their best aspects. And in the process, they got this ghost, which I still have no idea where these ghosts came from. I have no idea why one is before and why one is after, because she said her best aspects are her implants, and his best aspect is his comedy. And I don't see any comedy involved here unless it was the ghost, but we know it's not the ghost because that's the Harry Styles song. So she says herself, she recognizes that none of this makes sense. Thank God she said that because I'd probably try to spend 5 more minutes trying to make sense of it.
Yeah, I mean, I maybe the comedy part is just that this is supposed to be a funny tattoo, but
That
to
it's
me it
super
wasn't.
ironic and dumb, I guess.
I thought I was watching Tattoo Far for a second, Remember
Yeah.
that show?
Yeah. How far is tattoo far? Yeah.
Yeah, this was pretty far for me, and I've seen a lot of
Is that
horrible
the
things,
show? I know there's been a lot of tattoos. Is that the show where like pairs would come in and they would assign a tattoo to another person?
and it would be horrible
Yeah. Okay.
and
Yeah.
mean.
That was a really weird show, but thoroughly entertaining.
I'm sure they
I
had
remember
some
when
health
Angelina
issues.
was on there with the hamster.
She was on there. I remember, Corey and Cheyenne from Teen Mom were on there, but she
They
gave
were on there
Corey,
too.
yeah, that weird MTV Ho
Yeah.
one, and then he gave her a nice tattoo.
Yeah. Yeah. He was trying
So,
to get her back at that point.
that was probably the nicest tattoo I've ever seen on Tattoo Far, honestly, so but
Agreed.
anyways, I mean, this was basically how far is tattoo far. And then as they're waiting for these people to draw up the horrible tattoo idea, which you could tell these people were like, "Are you sure?"
Yeah, I know. They asked several times, "Is this okay? Do you want
Yeah.
this? Do you want this?" Like, I'm gonna need written consent.
Yeah, are we sure? Like, we're not going to get sued here. I see cameras and stuff. Is this a prank joke show? Are we on Punked? What is this?
I don't
And
know.
she does
Possible.
end up telling him that both her parents passed away and her grandmother who raised her passed away, which was pretty heavy for what they were doing. I mean, I assume he has to know at some point anyways. So she decided being more vulnerable meant to trauma dump.
I mean, she did throw a whole lot out there. That is definitely true. Um, it was at least kind of an organic segue. It doesn't seem like she just sat down and she was like, "So everybody's dead." She had this. That would be really bad, right?
Oof.
She has this shamrock that she
Mhm.
has that is supposed to resemble some of the tattoos that her dad had. That apparently there was not a single tattoo on that man's body other than the Celtic theme with interweaving in his body that she would ever put permanently on her. And I think that is saying a lot about what his tattoos must have been, because we're about to watch her put these ghost titties on her body and she's willing to do that. So it's not
Yeah.
even like he had a bunch of naked ladies or whatever. Like, I'm wondering if he maybe had some really inappropriate things,
That
like
or, you
violent
know,
related
or
things.
or rug related or something, because he was an
Possible.
addict as well, and or maybe they're just bad tattoos, bad
Yeah,
quality, maybe done in a basement by some other addict or something, you never know.
I'm sure that. Definitely that.
Definitely that. So
But yeah, she definitely releases a lot of her kind of the tip of the iceberg, at least the immediate details that her dad was an addict, she was raised by her grandma, everybody is dead, and this guy has never even been to a funeral. And so he has no capacity, I think, to understand what she's really been through.
mhm.
So they kind of set it up to be like have us on pins and needles a little bit about how he's gonna respond.
Mhm,
Um,
which it was awkward. It kind of was thrown out to him out of almost nowhere, so it's hard to, like, react in the moment, but I think, maybe watching it back, he's probably like, "Well, I should have said this or whatever," but I think she must be used to that too, because she said, many times when I tell people things get really awkward and then nothing. But
right.
so, it's very sad, but we'll get back to them.
We shall. And in the meantime, we see Sarah again. It's been a while since we've seen Sarah, right?
A couple episodes. Last time we saw her, she was eating some fruit.
Oh, yeah. And talking to Dolly about how she doesn't plan to compromise. And so Dolly
Yep.
found her a crazy rich Asian, and we will see that play out through the course of this episode. But this is Sean. Sean shows up in a vintage Rolls Royce just to impress her, and it works.
And it works.
That's what this picture was supposed to be. But
Yeah. Well, he shows up and he immediately starts talking about his ex-girlfriends
Mhm.
and shows her pictures of him on the beach and things like that, which is an interesting way to start off a first date. I don't know if I would really like to hear about somebody's ex-girlfriend on our first date unless we ran into her or something, like, "Oh, I know
Right.
her," whatever.
Right,
And
maybe if they were mutual people that you knew, or, but yeah, he just whipped
sure.
out his phone, just, "Yeah, my ex and I were in the Maldives recently." I did catch a weird thing. He said that his Thailand girlfriend, which apparently we find out later he has multiple of them, but one of his Thailand girlfriends is kind of her vibe. And I just want to know what he meant by that, because he was in the middle of complimenting her about how pretty she was and how she makes it look easy. But I know that it takes a lot of work because my Thailand girlfriend was kind of your vibe. And I just feel like he's making a lot of assumptions about our girl Sarah. And isn't that what
Mhm.
her mom and Dolly were trying to warn her about?
That's the thing. But he takes her to this, I'm guessing, like, almost rooftop type restaurant. It has, like, a really nice view and
It's a Ferris wheel. We call it a
oh,
Ferris wheel. I guess they call it something else. The name will come to me later because I think I took a picture of it, but it's a big Ferris wheel.
oh my god, I'd have a heart attack. I'm sorry, I'm
So
just too
would I.
afraid of heights. Like,
So
I
would
couldn't
I.
eat anything.
Mhm. No.
But it's nice for
They
her. I mean,
actually have some really cool shots of it too, like aerial shots of it throughout the episode. I think I deleted all of them. But if anyone goes back and watches, it's huge.
yeah,
Huge.
and I mean, this is good for her because her last date, she went to go eat frog porridge in the red light district. So
Yeah.
this was a very nice, different. thing to
She's got her
do.
Manolos on. Her hair is extensioned up. She's ready to go.
I felt bad for Sara a little bit because her hopes were high when that Rolls Royce pulled up and that man walked out. Like she
Right
thought
away, she
this
said,
is
I
it.
found my Prince Charming.
Yep. And then come to see like he only wants to talk about his girlfriends and just, like he says he's got all these family values that he wants to have a family and all that, but yet he's still stuck in this like playboy state. I was like, oh no. And
So
yeah.
we got our first, there's actually 3 bonus scenes in the More to
Oh.
Love episode. Crazy, right? They honestly, none of them gave a lot. Some of them I get confused as to why it didn't make it into the episode, but I understand why none of these made it into the episode, but I will go over them anyways. So when Sara brings up the reason that she's in that country is because of the family values aspect that they really hold, more as a priority.
Mhm.
He brings that up and he leads with his whole hoe phase, because that's the part that we see them talking about is the whole hoe phase. But before that happens, he says, I have a lot of things in life. I take care of my body. I go on vacations. I'm happy generally. But what would make my family really happy and what would make me really happy at the end of the day is if I did have this more traditional kind of lifestyle with a wife and with kids and things like that. And then he goes into she asks, well, why are you single? Why did the things end with the girl in Thailand? And that's when he brings up, well, I was dating like basically multiple women. So he gives a little bit more, I think it gives a little more in depth of what he really is looking for. And it makes me think that maybe she was judging him too quickly. Like maybe he really is coming out of his hoe phase and he probably shouldn't have said all of that. He probably should have been a lot more direct when she asked, are you still in your hoe phase, to say absolutely not. I just met my wife, or, something cheesy or stupid just to move on from the topic. But no, this man could not stop talking about terrible things. Just
he was
disgusting dinner conversation.
Yeah, he was basically like, yeah, I don't know. We'll see."
Yeah,
No one wants to hear
crazy.
that.
He's like, either I'll sleep with you tonight, or if we don't, then yeah, I'm out of my hoe phase. It's just it was really weird. In the meantime, it doesn't seem like he was clocking at all that when she was laughing like this, that she was not enjoying herself, that she was laughing at the thought of ever being with this man for more than necessary.
Yeah, she was definitely looking forward to the end of this date when
She
she
was
was in the middle.
hysterical.
Yeah.
It was crazy. But I do kind of think she sort of jumped the gun a little bit at first, but then, yeah, he does continue to show his true character. So I can't blame
Yeah.
her for
Yeah.
thinking that he's terrible.
Yes. Well, guess who else is terrible?
The king of terrible.
Mr. Tony, who is going to go on an actual date, not with any of the
Before he did
girls.
that, he took a shot of honey. Did you see that? Do you remember that?
Yeah, it was weird. He was
He
talking to
almost choked
himself.
on it. I wish he would have choked on it.
He was talking to himself and hyping himself up and, getting himself all geared up for this date. And I'm like, man, you're not running a marathon and you've never run one before or something. You're just going on a first date. Like, relax. Honey, vitamin B, whatever he's talking about.
For
Like,
energy.
dude.
Yeah, just drink an espresso.
Man, this man, he is just my arch nemesis, I think. But so he finds out that he's going to be on a jujitsu date, which is right up his alley. Although I didn't see him do anything spectacular there, but
I did like Louisa's point about going on a jujitsu date with somebody, of it being more in his comfort zone so that he can focus less on what's going on and focus more on connecting with the person.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that's not going to work out, but.
No, because he meets Marina and she looks exactly like his ex. And I'm like, okay, can we show a picture of the ex then? Because I want to see if this guy's exaggerating or if.
I think that's a great point. I would love to see that as well. I mean, he does say that she's beautiful and that he thinks she's very attractive and he's attracted to her. And at first, I think he was open. He said something even to her later on when he shares, "You look like my ex." He said, "It's crazy how people can look similar but be different." And so at first, I think he was open a little bit to seeing how different she was, but we'll
Yeah.
find out that that also doesn't work out for
Well,
him.
what's funny is that, like, my husband, his ex has the same name as me, like, full out Anne Marie, which
Yeah.
is really weird, but
Yeah.
that never stopped him. So,
Well, my grandma married 2 Davids and that go by
well, that's
David.
a very common name.
It is a very common name, especially in that age generation. But yeah, I think you shouldn't disregard people just because there's things that are similar about them to people in your past. Everybody is different, and I understand maybe initially being reminded of that, but that's your stuff. Don't project that all over, this girl who's really nice and likes you.
Well, we're talking about Tony here. He can't let anything go.
He can't. He is the center of his own universe. That is for sure.
Yeah, we don't know about these man things.
He does seem attracted to her, though. I mean, obviously physically attracted to her, but he also liked the fact that she was able to she never did do jujitsu before, but she did some other type of martial arts.
Mhm.
I don't think I wrote it down, but he was attracted to the fact that she could take care of herself when he's not around. Because remember, the world revolves around him and men and men's needs and the male experience.
And women taking care of themselves.
And women taking care of themselves and the children. And if they're possibly going to have children in the future, then they should have long hair, but they shouldn't have dogs because they should be waiting patiently for their
I mean,
children.
I'm surprised this man hasn't written a manifesto type of book.
Oh, he's written a manifesto. He's probably talked about it on the show. They just haven't put it out there. So here comes our red flag, second red flag, I guess, for
our 50th
Marina.
red flag with Tony.
Well, Marina's red flag. I mean, for Tony,
Yeah,
he's burned into the red flag.
He's burned. He's a black flag at this point, like poison.
So this is all of our faces whenever we see Tony, but this is Tony's face when he learns that Marina also sleeps with her dog, and he lets us know that his ex-girlfriend used to sleep with her dog. And she can sense right away that this man is now terrified, and immediately he's like, I gotta go.
Well, talk about jumping the gun too. The first thing he asks is if she has any kids, and she says, "No, I have a dog." And he's like, "Your dog is your kid?" So he is the one that's inferring that she sees her dog as a child, which, I mean,
that's what he pulled, I think, from his ex, right? And then he was like,
Right.
"Oh, so you sleep in the bed with the dog?" I think a lot of people sleep in the bed with their dogs. I'm not saying everybody. I think a lot of people don't want to sleep in the bed with their dogs, and either one is fine. It's a personal choice, but I don't think it represents any kind of mental health issue either way.
Yeah, I mean, I love my dogs like they're my babies. I treat them like they're my children. I talk to them all day, whatever. But once we got the chow, like, before we would let, Django sleep in the bed, but we had like a blanket over like the regular blanket that we use as like our dog blanket because he does shed. And it's just not like, I don't
If I had a shedding dog, I would have some areas like that too.
Yeah. So then once we got her, it was just too much hair for me. So they sleep on the floor now and we don't let them on the bed at all. But it's not because I wouldn't want to. It's just that they are sheddy and it's just not comfortable in my bed like that. But
that makes a lot of sense.
I'm also pregnant, and I can tell you, Tony, that I will treat my baby like better than my dog. Like, I don't understand what he's talking about with that. He's so concerned that she's going to treat her dogs better than a baby. Like, what is wrong with this man?
See, to me, I feel like if you don't have a child and you have a dog, like, okay, I'm not talking about women who are, getting their dogs groomed every day and dressing them up and putting them in strollers and taking them out all the time. I'm not talking about that kind of dog owner, but just a person like you and I who loves their dogs, who calls them their baby because currently we don't have any babies. And so that's the closest thing that we got. I think that is super duper normal. And I also think that it might be an illustration or a good example of how someone is a caretaker, not like this person is so laser focused on a dog that they don't have the capacity to care for anything else. What kind of weird idea is that? Like, if you care a lot for a dog, I feel like that means you're going to care a lot for a baby, because they're kind of similar in that they need you and you're their caretaker. And so if you see someone care for a dog, I think that's an illustration of how they are as a caretaker, not the fact that they're at their full capacity with an effing dog.
Now, there are probably a couple people in this world that are at their full capacity with an effing dog.
Yes, and those are the people who put their dogs in strollers and take them to get groomed every day and dress them. And like I said, I'm not talking about those ladies, because those ladies want their dogs to be their babies. Right. Dogs are good practice for a baby, to an extent.
To an extent, yeah. I mean, we're not Monica over here answering for our dogs, but we are talking to them. And just imagine Tony going on a date with Monica and seeing how she interacts with her dog.
I wish he would. They're in the same city. Why doesn't Louisa get them together like Katerina got, Amber and Victoria together?
Because they just
I would love to see Monica give the women's experience of having a dog when you're a single woman.
He would probably think he's going on a date with her because her long hair and everything.
Probably. He'd probably like to go on a date with her.
He probably wouldn't mind it.
And then he would meet the dogs, and he'd probably, just lose his mind at that point. Like, all these women have dogs.
Yeah, I wonder how he feels about cats then. It's got to be even worse.
Well, I know cats kind of require less attention.
True, but they can get on more surfaces.
Oh, for sure. Yes, definitely. But I don't know. I do kind of think it's different, unless you're like our friend Jen, who carries her cat around on a leash.
And then a stroller and everything. Yeah.
Yep. It has a little barn for him in the backyard that he likes to watch his chickens.
Yeah. I think she treats her cats a little bit more of a baby than I treat my dogs.
Probably. Agreed. Yeah.
But she's, been in a long-term relationship and everything's fine there. We can still love animals and be.
One thing about women is we have a lot of capacity to show love and care. Okay.
Not according to Tony. You got to have long hair. You got to have
a lot of things.
Yeah, you have to have so many things just to be a normal person to him, which I can only imagine like what he's like even just going to a supermarket. Like he sees someone with short hair and he's like, what is that? He's just sees a dog and he just frightened or something. Like, what is this man like out in the wild?
It is so weird, this man's obsession with hair, with his own hair, with other people's hair. It's just wild. It's astounding.
Well, that's why I think he's got such an obsession with other people's hairs, because he doesn't have any. But when you don't have any, you can't just be like, well, that has to be long. We were just talking earlier about what if somebody is dating him and they have extensions in and he doesn't know it at first. Is that catfishing him, or is he okay with that because extensions require a lot of maintenance and a lot of taking care of yourself?
Possibly that. I mean, I know that he does the whole AI photos, so I'm curious where he does draw the line at what's real and what's fake. He gave some strange analogy about, bringing the Ferrari back home and it looking under the hood and it not being right or something. So I don't know. And I
think girls have the same experience with him too.
Yes. I think I'm jumping ahead a little bit, but I'm just going to say it while it's on my mind. I know Louisa makes the point earlier about how these things should be a pause instead of a deal breaker. And it's just like, you'd think even if you meet the best woman in the world and she has shoulder length hair, instead of immediately saying, I'm not going to go on a date with her, you think if it's that important to you, maybe you might say, hey, have you ever considered extensions? Just a
growing
question.
Out your hair.
Just a question. Yeah. How come it's not grown out? Could you grow it out? Would you think about it? Like, it's just like, it's not.
Hair doesn't. I know his hair doesn't grow, but other people's does.
Totally, especially women. And like I said to you earlier, and I mean, this is just my opinion, but I have like ridiculously long hair, and my hair is ridiculously long, not because I spend all day primping and pampering myself. In fact, it's quite the opposite. I don't want to go somewhere to get my hair cut. I don't want to take care of it. Like, I feel like women who have like shoulder length to mid-length hair probably take the best care of their hair because they're constantly getting trims, they're constantly getting their hair cut. A lot of times women who have like shoulder length hair are doing curls or styling it in some kind of way. Like I keep my hair long so that I can do nothing with it and it looks pretty to idiots like this guy. I didn't know I was attracting idiots like this guy, but apparently I am.
Apparently
I'm
that
married,
is
Tony.
well, and apparently that's what the men out here want. Is that what he said? She doesn't understand the man. What words did he
The
say?
male perspective or the
Ugh.
male experience or some. That's why I know that he's been trouncing around in the manosphere because he's using those kinds of words.
My husband scoffed at that. He's like, "What?" He's like, he's like, "What perspective do we have?" I think everybody's got different perspectives on things.
I
He's like,
think
some
so.
people are into bigger chicks, some people are into midgets, some people are into like everyone's got
People with long hair.
It's like, and the thing is with this whole long hair means taken care of or whatever. It's like he's never seen like a long-haired statue out there or a long-haired crack addict or something. Like
Right.
people can
Right.
be dirty and have long hair, and people can be dirty and have short. Like I don't understand where this man's
and there
knowledge
are plenty of bad moms out there who don't have dogs too. It's
and
not
who
like
have long hair or
yeah. I don't know where he's making all. He says he's done his research a couple of times on all of these weird ideas that he has, but again, I think he's trouncing around in the manosphere because I don't know how these things connect, correlate, let alone actually have to do with each other. If he can do AI photos, then girls can wear extensions. I agree. He was even kind of making the idea or the point that if he can do AI or he can do AI photos because girls use filters in their photos and stuff like that. So if he can get it,
not AI.
True. And so I think those things are equal, right? And so if he can get a head tattoo to make his head look like he has hair follicles, then a girl can have extensions. Absolutely. And I think it's worth him asking a damn question about it. I do think it's stupid that he's so hung up on the idea, but if it is the end all be all for you, why don't you ask a couple of questions about their willingness to have long hair before you just run away like a weirdo?
Well, like you said, perfect example of a bad mom with long hair is Amber Portwood. She's got long hair and barely leaves her couch. She has no custody of her kid.
And it's for the same reason as me, because we don't want to go to the hair salon. These are
she
lazy
don't leave her
house. Yes, I'm telling you. Unless you see a woman, and I'm just speaking for myself and my experiences, but I feel like unless I see a woman who has hair as long as me and she has the waves and the curls and the whatever, then we're lazy girls. Us long-haired girls, we're lazy girls. At least I will speak for myself in that aspect.
Yeah.
I ain't going to the salon. I'm not getting my hair cut. Why? Just let it grow. It's pretty that way to these idiots. I should cut my hair. I need to Tony proof myself.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah,
otherwise he'll be at your door.
To the salon I go.
Yeah, I do need to you do have a dog, so that will throw him.
I do have a dog, and he does sleep in my bed, and he is my baby. And his name is Prince.
And I'll never get over this dog situation. Like a woman can't have a dog and be a mother and treat both equally, if not the child much better. Like I just blows my mind.
Dude. Weird dude.
Anyways, taking a break from him, we're going to go over to Amber, who is continuing her first date. It just feels like a second date because she's in a new location, but she's meeting the parents, and it was so chaotic for me. They walk in and it's all loud and hello.
Oh, there's a bonus scene actually before. This is probably the longest bonus scene. So in the car on the way there, they do have a little bit of a chat about his Mr. Ireland situation. So she asked a little bit about it. It seems like she was curious about it. And he said that he had been doing like those physique shows or whatever. So the Mr. Ireland was sort of just the natural next step for him, I suppose. And then I don't know if I got a picture of this, but she's in a confessional saying that she doesn't think that Glenn being Mr. Ireland necessarily makes him more attractive than Kevin, but it makes him more charismatic and more social and more outgoing than Kevin. So I think she's saying that she is still more attracted to Kevin than Glenn with the arched eyebrows, but she is getting more attracted to Glenn with the arched eyebrows because he is sociable. And we haven't seen almost any words from Kevin ever. Even on that first meeting, they were just, reading each other's souls. So, and then they were just making out. But anyway, so they keep talking about the Mr. Ireland, and he says that because he's Mr. Ireland, he's also going to be part of the Mr. Worlds competition, like how there's Mrs. Worlds from like Miss America to Miss World, that there's a Mr. category, and he shares some history with her a little bit too about these pageants and stuff. And then she says that she always wanted to be in those kinds of pageants. Oh, and before that, he says that, you know how like when you're Miss America, you have to have some kind of social initiative or something.
Mhm.
You have to have a project or whatever for your serving term.
Sure.
Well, they do that in Ireland, and he wanted to do the initiative of Let's Get Men Talking, which is for mental health, and having men like get together and talk about mental health, which I thought was really cool. And I'm happy that he's doing that. I wish that they would have actually shown this scene because I think it just showed a little bit more about Glenn, but maybe she doesn't pick Glenn, so maybe it's irrelevant. I don't know.
It's very
But
Justin
anyway,
Baldoni of him.
I know. And so we learned that Amber herself wanted to be in Miss America. She wanted to compete in all of these pageants because she was already doing dancing. She was already doing like gymnastics and all kinds of stuff. So that sort of felt like the next thing for her to do, but her mom wouldn't allow it. And he had the sweetest response. He said, your mom wouldn't let you do it so that she could give everyone else a chance because you definitely would have won. And I was like, Glenn, you're so cute.
I know I'm liking him better than Kevin right now.
I like him a lot. I think he's really cool. I think he has a lot to offer. And then the scene goes on, and Amber asks him more about Ireland and the culture. And she said that she's been talking to a lot of people in Dublin, trying to figure out, like, is it normal that people live with their parents? And if so, then why? And he said that the average age that people buy their first house in Ireland is somewhere around 38 years old, that it's super normal that people live with their parents because not only is the cost of living really high because of the housing, but it's because like there's not enough houses for the people in Ireland, especially when you're thinking about Dublin. You know, think about any urban area, there's never enough houses for the people, so you know it goes up really high. So he said that yeah, that's true, and that's actually where they lead into the idea of like he actually lives on his own, and then he shares that with her, that little bit with her.
She loved it.
That I think we all saw, and she was so excited about that. So but yeah, she does walk in and it's quite chaotic. But she gives the mom a compliment right away, and basically that's what sets off the chaos. The mom just starts like screaming. She's like, "Oh, I love you! Wine, stew."
Yeah, it was really funny, but
it was funny.
also,
it seemed like a really welcoming house, though.
yeah, they were very excited to meet her, and she's like matches their energy. So it was just ping ponging energy back and forth. All of them, even the dad was very like,
yeah.
I think
the
only
brother was probably the quietest one, and he even got up and danced. You know, when they all danced.
Yeah.
So.
But you know, her dad gives her the Diana Ross compliment, which honestly, she does look a lot like Diana Ross, I think.
Yeah,
Which is not a bad thing. But she took it as
resemblances. You know, I think what was difficult for sorry, my husband's getting right now.
Okay.
I think what was difficult for her about hearing that was it came right on the heels of when she asked, what is Glenn's usual type? And they didn't really have any answers for her other than petite. And then the dad's just like, oh, I look like Diana Ross. It's just like, okay, you've never dated a Black woman before.
Right.
But she was okay with that. And it was an assumption. So who knows?
Yeah, I think that could have been an assumption. He might have before. We don't know. As you said in last episode when I asked if there were other races in Ireland, you said that there was a lot. So it's possible. I would think too, if this was his first time, and he'd be a little bit more almost nervous, not like exactly nervous, but you know what I mean? Like he'd be a little bit more on guard about things that are said, I guess.
Right.
Because maybe he'd be a little bit more like, oh, I don't want to upset anybody, whatever. But either way, they start talking about cutting a rug, which she did teach them meant that she could, you know, do some dance. She can clog. So they had to watch her do that. And Amber's such a good sport. She's ready to clog. She gets out there. She starts clogging and dancing with the whole damn family. And they loved her.
This was heartwarming. I was actually cheesing when I was watching this. Like my cheeks hurt after I watched the scene. I just thought there was such a spark with the family. And I think that made them really attracted to each other. I love them as a couple. I think Kevin Schmeven.
Yeah, honestly, when I saw how good she got on with his family and everything, and
Yeah.
she went in there looking for, red flags or whatever, but I thought that this was a really good welcoming scene, and I think this is the best way to start off a relationship with someone's family is to clog dance with them in the middle of their living room. All of them. She even had the mom out of breath.
I know they were all
Mhm.
it was very cute. Very, very cute. And so they kind of ended off the date. She said that she wanted to see them again. She assured them that she would see them again. And she said, we'll probably be on our 5th date by the next time that I see you all. So I think that that's definitely a good sign.
Well, they said they'd go to see her in Texas. They're already thinking
Well, they're already
daughter-in-law.
planning their trip to Texas. They
Yeah,
did want to adopt her, Joe.
they wanted to keep her for
Definitely.
themselves.
I mean, who wouldn't? She has just like his parents picked up on, she has this really exuberant personality. I mean, the mom, I mean, I don't know if she's been scorned or if she just has low expectations or what, but as soon as Amber came in and said more than hello to her and gave her a compliment, right away she's like, well, at least she talks. So it's just like,
She was
but
so
Amber,
happy.
she just has this really attractive personality. Like she
Mhm.
attracts people, I think, to her.
She's one of those people that, like, when they walk into a room, like, they really are like a light. Like,
Yeah.
they're just
Yeah.
bubbly, and you can just sense it that they're, like, a fun person to be around, and
Mhm.
she's
And
down
I
for
just wanna
anything.
be like, I'm definitely straight, but I just wanna be a man in her gaze. I mean, she just looks at the men that she's interested in such a way. I just want someone to look at me like that just once with this, like, big smile and hopeful eyes. Like, it's just so she's so cute.
It's like how I look at pizza
Yes, and chocolate.
and Jello
Yes,
right now.
and Jello right now.
That's my biggest pregnancy craving, you guys. It's really strange.
It
Um,
is. So they kiss. Now kiss.
they do. They kiss. I'm surprised. I don't know what lipstick she's wearing, but it's not even smearing on these guys.
I'm starting to wonder if she has a tattooed lipstick.
It's her perfect color on her. It looks
I
amazing.
know.
Like, red is
And
her
it's
color.
always the same perfect red. It's always flawless. And yeah, I've seen her have drinks of Guinness and I saw her eat on, the bonus scene with Victoria. And I'm starting to wonder if it's tattooed.
Well, if it's not, girl, show us the brand because
Exactly.
or it's a
We need it.
stain maybe, but it's still quite good.
It is good. Yeah. So back to Sarah and Sean, unfortunately.
Ooh.
They have to hop off of their little Ferris wheel guy and they get back into the Rolls Royce. But in the meantime, Sarah lets us know that she is most definitely not feeling this man. She thought he threw his own self under the bus. She didn't even need to ask him further questions. He just went on
Mhm.
and on and on about how terrible he is. Meanwhile, he was in a confessional talking about how he would like to go home with her, but he'll settle for a kiss. And I'm just like, sir, I don't think you and this woman are in the same dimension, let
Different
alone
worlds.
very different worlds.
They're even seeing things from very different perspectives. I like that they blur out this driver man's face. He didn't want to be associated with this. Like,
I mean, based on the talk that went down during this moment, I wouldn't want to be associated with this. And it's all bad. I mean, they get in the car and he's all like, take the long way. I don't know why that irked me the way it did. I'm telling you, I've been complaining about women getting the ick this whole time we've been filming. I think I've experienced it. I think if I was in the car and
mhm.
that man told a driver to take the long way for some reason, I would jump out of the car.
Well, especially because he's just trying to work her up into either a kiss or getting her alone.
To figure
Um,
out how to get this final 100th rose, which was also so weird. All these strange implications. I got you 99 roses. Why 99? Because you have to work extra hard for the 100th rose. What do you want me to do in the back of this Rolls Royce, sir?
yeah, he was definitely horny.
Well, he talks about how horny he was and how his stamina. She wants to know a little more about his hoe phase, and I don't know, maybe this was her way of trying to figure out, is this guy as unserious as I'm thinking that he is. And then he goes on to just continuously throw himself under the bus. He said something about 5 a day. Like, it's exhausting, and I can't do more than 5. Do what? 5 what a day? Women, interactions, experiences, dates.
I mean, 5 of anything a day sounds like a lot.
I know. I can't even eat 5 meals a day. Like, I can't do anything. I could probably do a couple things 5 times a day, but not
that.
that.
Well, and I just don't understand. He's got so many like girlfriends and stuff. Are there
Mhm.
like language barriers or something? How can he say out like this is him on a first date?
I
So
don't think this is
he
a
must
language
be talking.
barrier. He said, "Let me turn it up a notch," and asked her about her body count, about her stamina. He knew what he was doing.
I
He's
wonder if he
weird.
thinks because she's American that she's just ready to go or something.
I think he talked about her vibe. He talked about how she looks. He's making all these assumptions about what she wants out of life. He's not listening to her say she wants a traditional life because she doesn't look like someone who wants a traditional life. So he just like, I think he had one too many champagnes and he's not listening to this girl. He's just looking at her and saying what he thinks would rev her little engine.
She's probably missing her sugar daddy now.
She probably is.
Like we can adopt them kids. We can
Yeah,
get
I
back
did
to
think this was funny
hospital.
because she keeps saying, she wants to find a crazy rich Asian, like from the movie or the show. I don't know if it's a movie or a show, but from the pop culture, and that Sean is all of those things, but that he's just too much for her. So I feel her on that. I really do, but I think that this is exactly the point that Dolly and her mom were trying to make to her. And for some reason, I don't even feel like Dolly was trying to set her up. I feel like this guy just went kamikaze all on his own.
No, it sounded like when Dolly was explaining him that she thought that he
It was
was
going to
ready
be a
for a
hit.
family and that he had
Yeah,
like the luxury items that she was going to need. So I don't think Dolly set her up at all. I think she, set her up on a date, but I don't think she set her up to teach her a lesson like Louisa likes to do or
right.
Katerina likes to do. I think Dolly was really just trying to give her what she wanted and maybe hopefully she
I
might,
agree.
change a little bit, but it hopefully would just be what she wanted because she
Right,
wasn't budging in what she wanted.
right.
So yeah, I don't think this is Dolly's fault, but I
No,
think that like there's only so much vetting you can do, right? And is he really going to tell Dolly, "Well, I have 50 girlfriends and I want to." It sounded to Dolly that he wanted to start a family and he
right,
was good now, but he's telling her, "I got a stamina. I can do 5 times a day." Like who knew he was going to say that on a damn first date?
true, true.
So unhinged.
Yeah, so she does let him get back into his car and she takes her 99 roses. She ain't working for that final rose and she takes them into her hotel room. So we
Got
pop back
99
over.
roses and I ain't doing nothing for
Ain't,
another one.
ain't doing nothing for one. Definitely. But we get over to Victoria and we hop back into the saddest conversation that her date has probably ever had, considering that he's never even been to a funeral. He's just learned now of 3 losses that this woman has had. But he actually takes it pretty well. He obviously apologizes and says sorry about the losses. He's not a
Right.
Martian. He knows how to act. And then he shares a little bit with her as well about his family. He says that he's close with his mom and his sister, but that he does not talk to his dad and he hates his brother, and that there's about to be a wedding coming up for his family soon, and he's anticipating some chaos. So I think this was his way of relating a little bit to these difficult family situations. And Victoria loved that. That made her want to jump his bones.
And put his bones on her thigh, his ghost
All over the
bones.
thighs. Yes.
Mhm.
And her titties too.
Yeah, and that's the horrid tattoo.
So this is what they came up with.
Yeah, which is like the first ghost looks sad and it has what little titties?
Yeah, it pre and post, you know?
I feel like this tattoo's about her, not him. Like,
Yeah, she said that he's gonna have a tattoo of me forever. So I think the inspiration is her and her assets, or what did she call them? I had to write it down.
aspect.
Aspects. Her and
Why
her
is she
aspects.
covering the nips on that one, but not
I
the
don't know
first
if she's
one?
covering them or if she's just holding them, you know?
If they're done, you shouldn't have to hold them. Like,
I know. I
they should just
know.
sit there.
I know. Maybe
Yeah,
she's just, proud of. Oh,
she's
I just
definitely proud of them because she even talked about how she made a light of boobs,
mhm.
and
Oh, look at even the one after is floating and this one is not floating.
it's just like
It's like
sad.
schlumped.
Is that supposed to be him? And then that one's supposed to be her? Or like, what is
No,
this?
because it's before and after. It's like pre and post op.
Well, she also got her lashes done too
Oh,
because
for sure. Yeah, she got a whole levitation.
in what different eyes? Is there the eyes are even different.
I think it's just supposed to be like prettier, but I don't know. I don't get it. I really wish that they would have given us a better explanation. I know that it's like probably an inside joke or there's stuff that we're not really meant to understand, but I wish we would at least have the information.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen some really, really bad tattoos. So this is not the worst tattoo I've ever seen by far, but it's
Yeah.
just interesting that this is what you're going to do on your second date. Like this man didn't even know your whole family died before you guys decided to get these tattoos.
I
Kind of
know.
okay.
I know.
I
But
mean, each their own.
true, neither one of them seem. You can kind of tell, at least on the show, because they have these moments of confessionals where you can kind of tell when people are just playing along versus when they're actually into it, because they'll say so at least in their confessionals. And both of them in their confessionals are happy as ghosts with boob jobs. It's just like they're feeling closer than ever. He's really appreciating her personality, I think, even more and more, considering that she's been through
Mhm.
so much stuff, which I think is great. She really needs someone to see her in that way, as someone who's strong and resilient. um, and yeah, I think this is a good start. I wish that they wouldn't have shown us that preview clip of her getting stood up by somebody, because
Yeah,
it's
because
hard
I
for
can't.
me to get excited about this.
Yeah, I can't help but think that it's him.
Yeah. Who
Even though
else
it
would
could
it
be a
be?
different guy. I mean, maybe it was her first date with someone else, but the reaction she had, like how upset she was that she was gonna leave, I'd feel that way if I got
It's
tattooed by
giving,
for
I got a
someone.
permanent tattoo with this man and he stood me up. And so it's hard for me to get excited about that, because I would be excited otherwise. I think they're really cute. Hopefully she don't regret it later. I hope so too, but it sounds like this man's not even going to show up to their next date, or maybe a date after that. I don't know. I don't know. But yeah,
Oh,
hopefully she won't regret it. I wish they would have just gotten it a little smaller, but again, it's not my body and they both seem totally happy. So I'm not going to sit here and worry about it.
yeah. I mean, at least she could cover it, I think, with some
Yeah.
flowers or whatever she's got to do. But there-
Dude, I'm sure this was a joke. I mean, it really did sound like a joke, but on the way out, dude was like, "All right, see you in 2 weeks for laser removal." I mean, maybe he was for real.
I mean, possible. Oof. At least there's options these days.
Yeah. They do leave it on her desires to kiss him, but we don't see them kiss, at least. I think we see them leave the date. Um,
Mhm.
but she just says that she would like to have the first kiss with him.
Yep. And then we go to the end of this episode, which is the confrontation between Tony and Louisa. She's excited to hear about this date because she thinks she got it right. She
She's
found a
like,
nice,
I've been working on this girl for days.
she's like, I found a nice, cute girl. She does jujitsu. She has similar interests. She's got long hair. I did it right. And this man just completely shuts it down. And her face goes from a smile to a,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Look at
She is not pleased that this man has yet another 50 red flags.
I mean, I cannot blame her. This guy just sucks. He sucks all over. This is before we even learned that apparently she's dated a guy that was like him, which I think is code for I've dated a narcissist before. Like we all have. But like, I just feel like it's unethical at this point for her to set him up with anyone else that lives in San Juan. She would be
honestly.
doing a disservice to the community.
Yeah, he thinks that like owning a dog and like treating a dog like well is mental health issues, and he said he's done research on the matter. What research is there out there about this? I just need to
None.
know. Like, where is he
There's
reading
none.
this?
There's no correlation and there is no causation and there is no proof. This man has lost it.
You have a mental health background. Is this a study that I
I mean, I don't know every study in the world, but I have a hard time, like I said, really seeing a correlation, let alone evidence that there's like proof that this means that. You know, I don't even see how they're connected or related. Like,
Well, I've done tons
lots
of
of people have dogs. Lots of people. Think of all the people just in the United States that have dogs, right? You're
Mhm.
telling me that all of the women, so half of them have mental health issues, and then the ones who let the dog sleep in the bed all have self-esteem issues? I just don't think so. I mean,
I
case in point is Monica.
mhm.
She
Yeah,
does not have self-esteem issues.
or mental health issues.
We think she's funky, you know? The talking to the dog thing is weird, but that is not a clinical diagnosable mental health issue. This
Right.
guy's just lost his
I mean,
bananas.
he has some mental health issues. I feel like he's the one that
He
needs
thought
to
she
get
did this to
evaluated.
him on purpose. He did think this probably. He thinks everyone's out to get. He really just thinks the universe is centered just right around
Well,
him.
you know what? He did, because when he talked about the ex, like her looking like the ex, he thought that she
Mhm.
like set him up for this or something. Like, remember at the end of that day, he was like, um, oh, she's just trying to mess like, I'm losing my trust in her,
Yeah,
blah 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 blah. But she did everything that he told her. How was she supposed to know that he
what
has
his
this weird
exes look
dog
like.
thing or what
Exactly.
his
It's
exes look
just,
like? In
yeah,
fact,
it's just really
she seemed surprised when he talked about what that he looked they looked similar.
uh-huh. And she calls him out too on the whole dog situation. She says, I don't think you've done a whole lot of research and I don't think you're that smart. I think you haven't overcome your feelings about your ex. And I think you have a whole bunch of problems when it comes to relationships and your stupid red flags that you keep telling me about. I don't think that you're protecting yourself from any kind of
Yeah,
mental health issue. And I'm sorry, but like there are a lot of people in the world who have mental health issues on a mild to moderate basis. Like that does not mean they're undateable.
exactly.
It's
You
just
can have
insane. Again, I think he has a mental health issue, but I don't know him, so I'm not gonna,
we're
decide
all
that.
humans, and as humans, we all have flaws and
Right.
things, whether they're mental, physical, whatever. But he does say to her, "You've never met anyone like me." And then she says, "Actually, I have. I had an ex like you." And he says, "Don't put baby in a box."
So I'm really happy to have that information just because I'm happy to have it, but I wish she would not have slipped up. That was a slip up on her behalf. She lost her emotions and her control for just a moment because now he can always use that piece of information against her. Now, every time that she's upset with him, he's going to turn around and say, I'm not your ex, blah, 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 blah. And we even saw so much so the third bonus scene happened here, but before I get into that, when they walk up and she's mentioning the red flags, they have this real obvious paper here as if she's going to write him a presentation about his red flags. And then they sit down and they proceed, to kind of get in an argument about their exes and about the date he's about to go into. And they never approach what this paper is. So I don't know if they're going to do it next episode or if it was completely cut out. But don't you think this paper is there for them?
I would
Why
think
else would
so.
it be there?
Maybe there was an artist taking a break. I really don't know.
They're
But
filming a whole television show. I feel like the production crew would be like, okay, we're gonna move this away for a minute, unless it was there for them. And I just
yeah,
wish that Louisa would like list out all of his red flags all the things that he says no to, and then just leave that there until the end of time and just ask for one single woman who does not have any of those things to just sign it and leave her phone number, because I don't think he'd ever get a date.
And just
And
make him stare at
then
it.
Louisa's work is done, right? She doesn't have to go sweeping the world for these women to feed to this narcissist so he can chew them up and spit them out. She can just put the application out there, and then it's done.
Yeah. Yeah, as they're talking about this red flag stuff, he doesn't wanna be put into a box, and she makes the point of, "Well, you're putting everyone else in a box because of, like, 1 or 2 things." That's
Yeah.
the thing with these red flags is you're just prejudging people based off of your preconceived notions that
Yeah.
have no basis, like, I don't know what kind of experiences this man has or what kind of parents he had or whatever, that he's got all these, like, really preconceived notions that what he thinks is absolutely right, and, this is a man's perspective. Hey, man,
Right.
woman hater. I don't understand where
Mhm.
he gets off even thinking he should go on dates with women. Like,
I
be with a
I
man.
don't know. I know. So somehow Louisa has already come up with some other woman to put him on a date with, and she says that the woman is 31 and does want to have kids. However, she has recently cut her hair, and this dude is like immediately sick. It's like he can't even fathom. He starts going on about his rampage right away about the caring for babies and the family with the hair, and I'm not going to do this again, but he goes off on that rampage again. And then when they're talking about it, she says, that idea about we need to think of these kinds of red flags that you have as a pause, or I'm not going to be able to find someone for you. And I think that that is just a flat out reality. I don't think she's calling him difficult and that he's a difficult person. I think she's saying the task at hand is difficult when you have all of these red flags. I found you a woman who is perfect for you, except for she has chosen in her own accord before she met you to cut her hair. Do you think that you might consider a date with her and maybe ask her, would you let your hair grow so that I can be satisfied? Like, just give it a whirl. That's all she's trying to tell him to do. And instead of listening, he wants to turn it around on her and say, you're unprofessional. You called me difficult. I flew around the world to get your guidance, and you're just basically telling me that this is impossible. And it's
It was a
like, don't you love it?
derogatory word.
F off, dude. Just F all the way off.
It's like she said that to him or something just by saying, "You're being a little difficult and, you're gonna be my hardest client," or something.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. So this is where, in my opinion, I think Louisa does just veer a little tiny bit off the rails, and I think he just
Mhm.
finally gets under her skin enough for her, to not have that like professional judgment up. I think this is the most unprofessional thing that Louisa's done. Not call him difficult, but say, "I had a boyfriend who's just like you," because she is making assumptions now about who this man is. She don't know everything about him. I mean, we both hate him, just like we do, but we don't know everything about him either. I'm not saying that's going to sway my opinion, but as soon as she says this to him, he has every right now to say, this woman is emotional and has a problem and she can't get over her ex and she acts like I'm her ex. And so that's why we're unsuccessful. He can blame everything on her now just because she did this one thing. I wish she would not have.
Yeah, but I can also I can see both. Like, I definitely don't think she should have, but I would be sick of hearing him rambling on and on and on about, "You've never met a man like me." Like,
And like, let's be real. I think there's a lot of women who have met men like Tony who think that the world revolves completely around them and everything that they
please
need, and
stay far
they are
away.
totally rigid, and they just like they're so inflated in who they think that they are. And yes,
Mhm.
stay very far away from them. And yeah, I think Louisa has totally reached her limits, and we're all human, and she has limits just like all of us, but I just hate that he's gonna feel like he has the upper hand now, because he just sucks, and nobody should ever date this guy. Women need to stop dating men like this, and she should fire him. They should
Let's
be
not
punished.
forget, he's been unsuccessful thus far in
I
dating. So,
and there's a reason for it, because women need to just completely reject these kinds of men, and they can just go live on an island with each other until they die.
I hope Tony's girlfriend one day comes forward and tells her story, the ex-girlfriend with the dog and everything. You know, the way he talks about her, it's like she's in a psych ward or something.
Right. I know. So we
Girl,
do
if
see,
you're seeing this, come on our channel and tell your story. We're here
please.
for you.
We're here for any ex-victim of Tony. We would like to hear your story. We cannot provide compensation at this time, but we would like to hear your story and share it with our viewers.
Yeah, we can give you a platform of about like 160 viewers.
Yep. Yep. Give or take the week. So we get our final bonus scene though here. It's very, very brief. It happens right after, like kind of during the confrontation. It's just a little bit of an addition to the confrontation. But Tony has basically a little bit of a confessional that isn't shared, that's shared in this bonus scene. So this seems like he's saying that he feels satisfied overall with the confrontation that happened, that she apologized. He took more of like the language barrier into perspective than he did initially by just saying, don't give me that BS. He says in the confessional here, he recognizes that they grew up speaking different languages. And he also recognizes that she had all these preconceived notions about her ex and him being similar. And that now he feels like they can sort of move past all of those things because they've talked through it. And that he appreciates that he is difficult, but he recognizes that nothing that is worth doing is easy or everyone would have it. So he's committed to being difficult. Then he agrees to go on the date with the short-haired girl. She encourages him to ask questions and dig deeper, i.e., ask this woman if she has any hair extensions or if she's ready and willing to grow her hair longer, to prove to him that she can have a baby. A baby. And then we find out at the very end, Louisa lets us know she will be sending Tony on this final date. But if he comes up with any of these barriers or red flags or deal breakers or whatever he wants to call them on any given day, she will be firing this man and she will be finished with him. And what took you so long? I would have fired him as soon as he got off the plane.
Honestly, I agree. I mean,
exhausting.
Yeah, he thinks all hunky-dory now, and she is just like, yeah, he's getting one more shot because I'm done with this man. I'm done being berated by him and hearing about the man perspective. And though she deals with men all the time in this matchmaking field, and they're probably almost absolutely none of them, if maybe like 2%, if that, are like Tony.
Yeah.
It's not.
I agree. I don't think that he's like most men. That's probably the only thing that I'll say.
Like any men.
Yeah. I think that there's only a small aspect of men who are truly as insufferable as that man is. And I genuinely feel bad for any woman who comes across him.
Yep. Amen to that.
That's where we leave it for today.
I wish we had more of a backstory on him. Like, was he raised in a wilderness cave with only men?
I think he has to have mommy issues, right? I mean, he's so angry with women.
That part, yeah.
Yeah.
What are your guys' thoughts? What do you think's wrong with Tony?
Yeah, let us know. Honestly, if you've made it this far, definitely give us your best guess on who hurt this man. Was it his mother? Was it his ex? Was it a teacher? A little schoolgirl, maybe in elementary school.
His first crush. I wonder if I said this last time, but I keep wondering if like maybe him watching the show back and seeing how insufferable he truly is gonna help at all with.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
That's all that we can hope for him, is for him to heal and become a better person. Otherwise, I hope nobody touches him and he's undateable. And thank God he went on the show, because at least more women know not to touch him.
Now they can Google him and they can see.
Now they can Google him, yeah. So we do have just a little bit of a sprinkler teaser for next time. We're going to see Amber meet up again with Victoria, not in a bonus scene. So we'll be able to see Victoria show Amber her new tattoo, and her face says that she's surprised. So I'm definitely curious to see what her mouth says about it all, because Amber is pretty nice, you know, so I don't know how honest she's going to be about the situation. We're also going to see Sara go on another date with a different guy. He's really muscular. He looks like The Rock or something. I mean, he just like got a really big body.
Yes.
And she seems like she's really into him on the date, but you can't really tell if he's into her or not. He ends up calling her a bimbo at first look kind of thing. But I know that they like to make us worry sometimes in these trailers, so maybe everything will be fine. And then Harold's going to be back. We missed Harold this episode, which was super sad. But he is back. He's going to finish out his date with Amber, and they're going to talk about relations.
Yeah, which makes him think that that's
they
what
could be having relations.
Like right now.
Possibly in the public restroom, which she's apparently done before.
Oof. I mean, there's way more comfortable places now that we're in our 30s, girl. That's like, you know, teen stuff.
I know. And Harold, it's not like he's traveling with family like Sara is. I mean, he has a hotel room that's private. We don't need to go to the bathroom unless we're really in a hurry, I guess.
I mean,
in that case, I mean, I wouldn't be in that much of a hurry. I draw the line there. I have limitations. But
I already drew the line.
Apparently, Amber does not, because she's done it before. She wants to try it again.
To each their own.
To each their own, Chick Chat. Well, thank you all for joining us today and going over this pretty funny episode. I'm really still liking this season quite a bit. I'm so happy this show is back. It's hilarious.
But I can't wait to see Harold again. Actually, this season we've now missed him on 2 episodes, and last season it was only 1.
Yes.
So give me back Harold.
Give Harold back.
And get rid of Tony. Although I do not mind watching Tony just because someone's got to piss me off. But
yeah, it gets the people going.
It gets the people going. It's provocative.
He's very provocative.
Not
all right. Thank you, Joe, for your comments. Thank you, everyone who watched along. And thanks to everyone who watches on the rewatch. Don't forget to leave your comments about who you think hurt Tony, and subscribe if you're not subscribed, like the video, click the share button, and copy the link for us.
And we had fun reading your comments on the last video, so definitely keep commenting. We enjoy it. Yes. Remember, reduce, reuse, recycle, Rihanna, and we will see you next week. Chick Chat.
Bye.
Bye.